We have a very special 6-week series we are starting, and it's going to be on Tana's new book, The Relentless Courage of a Scared Child. I'm so excited about the launch of this book. And we're really going to talk about overcoming anxiety, depression, trauma, and grief. And we have an event, a live event coming December 12th. It's free. We'll tell you how to sign up for it. But this is a book that I'm just so proud of Tana for writing.
I just want to mention, for people who sign up for the events, you have to stay to the end because we're going to have a question that you're going to have to answer at the end. You'll be entered into a drawing to win an evaluation at Amen Clinics.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal. A lot of people who listen to the podcast either came to the clinics or want to come to the clinics. And I'm also so happy to announce the podcast has now over 10 million downloads.
Big deal. Yeah.
So we are thrilled that you listen or watch. But, you know, it's a book I sort of nudged her to write for a long time.
That's a gentle word.
Because Tana's story is probably a bit like your story, and how she has embraced it and overcame it. I mean, it's always a process, right?
Oh,
yeah. But the lessons from the relentless courage of a scared child, I am certain can help you. So before we get into it, though, we have winners.
Yes.
And we're going to choose 2 this week. Today is A New Look at Life by Danielle, MS-19. Dr. Daniel and Tana Amen have really opened my eyes to my health. I've been struggling with my physical and mental health since I was a kid. That sounds familiar. The podcast keeps me interested. I love listening to it. There's so many great topics being discussed that make me want to learn more. I'm interested in having my brain scanned to find out more about what I've been experiencing, and hoping to get a better understanding why I feel and think the way I do. I am excited for the future, and I really hope that what Dr. Amen is doing spreads like wildfire. We have wildfires here in Southern California. And more people invest in their own brain health.
Love that.
So Danielle, MS, you are one of our winners. And my team will reach out to you. You can either get a copy of my new book or Tana's new book.
Yeah. So the next one, we have Sarah McClanahan. So I'm currently a school counselor, and I'm always looking for ways to help my kiddos and make myself better. This podcast has truly opened my eyes to brain health and how to also help my family. I'm also reading one of his books. I think that means. I'm so excited. I'm obsessed. From a counseling perspective, I cannot believe I'm just now finding out about Dr. Amen. He's the real deal. I love that. It's fantastic.
Well, speaking of the real deal, so you open The Relentless Courage of a Scared Child with, I remember this day like it's yesterday, and you're pretty mad at me.
Yeah, I was mad at you. I was mad at God. I felt like I was being pushed to do something that I didn't want to do. We were speaking, I was asked to help change the menu at the Salvation Army, and you were going to be helping the people. And then Laura, who is just an amazing human, took my my 12-week class. When I wrote the Omni Diet, she took the 12-week class, and she got so healthy that she realized she needed to plant this in the Salvation Army to get them healthy. That if their physical health wasn't right, they were never going to beat their addiction. Like it was going to be much harder. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do the menu. And she said, no, not the menu. I really need you to work with the people like you worked with me, with us in your class. And all of a sudden I was like, no, I didn't agree to do that. Like, this isn't what I agreed to do. And I didn't realize until that moment just how judgmental I was. And so we were driving home from one of their events. She's like, come to our event. Just come see what the people are all about. This is a graduation ceremony. They're going to talk about their accomplishments, their struggles or challenges, what they've overcome. And I went, and I hated myself for being not more empathic or empathetic. I hated myself for being sort of angry through the whole thing and feeling almost scared. And so I remember sort of clutching my purse to me, and I'm listening to these people, and it felt to me like they were making light of their situation. Now, keep in mind, they've been in this program for over a year. So probably it was a big journey for them too, but that's not what I saw. And so we leave the event, and we get in the car, and I started crying, which I don't do very often.
Not very often. No, she's not a crier.
And I said, God just picked the wrong person this time. I can't do this. And you said, no, God picked the perfect person. And between you and Laura, you can both be very persuasive. I ended up working with these people, but the first time I went to talk to them, there's over 200 people in the audience, because there were the people who were residents, but then there were also some family members, and so there were a lot of people there. Staff, and it's probably more like 300 people. And I'm on stage, and I'm thinking, how am I going to reach these people? I can see them looking at me like, why are you here? And I'm looking at them thinking, why am I here? And so this isn't going to work. How am I going to teach them something when I don't like these people? And I realized I don't like these people. And so I kept just thinking of them as those addicts, or, I was labeling them in my head. And so I said a quick prayer. I mean, I'm a nurse. I'm a mother. I'm a nurse. It's not like I've loads of life experience. I should be more evolved than this. And I know that I can fighting with myself. So I say a quick prayer as I'm walking on stage, and I'm like, God, please let me just use me to teach one person one thing in this audience, if it's possible. And all of a sudden I have this epiphany. I'm looking out at these people, and it just hit me. They were scared children, just like I was at one point. Like, we were all just scared children. And I don't know why some turned right and some turned left. That's just above my pay grade. But it hit me that if I could go back to that time where we all had that in common, where we were all just kids, that scared child inside, even now, that maybe I could help the next generation and the one after that. And it was just this huge epiphany. And you would think it would be easy after that, but it wasn't, because a woman in the audience looked at me and she raises her hand. She goes, what would you know about my life? Look at you. Your life is perfect. And it was like someone slapped me. And I'm like, here, I thought I had made all this, I had this amazing epiphany. This is going to be beautiful. And I realized in that moment, she was seeing exactly what I wanted her to see, a facade. Took years to build that facade. So why would I suddenly expect that they were going to see through it? And so I stepped back, and I just said, how many of you are judging me right now? And nobody raised their hand at first. And I'm like, no, how many of you are judging me? Because I'm judging you. And so I raised my hand, and eventually they started raising their hands. And I just said, so let me tell you about a scared little girl. Her name is Tana.
That's so beautiful. And I've heard this story over and over again.
But when I told them my life story, we suddenly had this bond. And the next 2 years were just beautiful.
And when I first met you, you were not telling anybody this story. But when you share authentically about who you are, you bond, you can connect to people. And that's one of the most beautiful parts of the relentless courage of a scared child. So you can pre-order the book, relentlesscourage.com, and you can sign up for the event at tanaamen.com/event. And at the event, we're going to raffle off an evaluation.
We have great speakers. Clinics. I mean, in addition to you, who is amazing, we've got JJ Virgin, we have Pastor Derwin Gray, Pastor Miles McPherson, Carolyn Leaf. I mean, it's going to be an amazing event. There's going to be so many takeaways that are just practical for people. Now,
write down what you learned. We're going to come back and we're going to do more with the Salvation Army story. I mean, spectacular. Write down what you learned, post it on any of your social media sites, take a picture of it, post it, and then go to brainwarriorswaypodcast.com, leave us comments, questions, or reviews, and we'll enter you into a drawing to win one of our books. Stay with us.
If you're enjoying the Brain Warriors Way podcast, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always know when there's a new episode. And while you're at it, feel free to give us a review or 5-star rating, as that helps others find the podcast.
If you're considering coming to Amen Clinics or trying some of the brain healthy supplements from BrainMD, you can use the code podcast10 to get a 10% discount on a full evaluation at amenclinics.com or a 10% discount on all supplements at brainmdhealth.com. For more information, give us a call at 855-978-1363.